Hello, my name is Stacy Pringle and I'm the thoughtful listener. Welcome. Today I'm going to talk about hearing versus listening, the difference between the two. I am a certified active and volunteer listener. I received my certification from the Voice of Health and I volunteer at an organization that helps people move forward when they have stresses, frustrations, and issues in their lives. We are our own experts in our lives. And so when we can have this opportunity to declutter the noise in our life and find clarity and focus, most often the answers we're looking for are within. So at the Voice of Health, they describe active listening as one of the greatest skills to achieve true empathy. Active listening can provide someone who is struggling tremendous value by enabling them to work on their own difficulties in the company of a caring, empathetic listener. And this is so true. When you have someone who is there, who is empathetically listening, who is fully engaged, who is fully present, who blesses you with a safe, judgment free space to share with them, it will allow a person to, the speaker, to open up and really de stress and declutter the noise, as I stated in the previous video, the noise that's in their lives. This actually happened to me the other day, and I talked about it in the last video, 3 practices to help you become a better listener. And there were two of us in a computer lab. We were total strangers, and a woman jumped up in frustration, and I just asked her open-ended question about what was happening. And from there, we went on, and she just shared with me the things that were going on in her life and how she felt isolated and frustrated. And I listened, and her viewpoints were not the same as my viewpoints and my perspectives, but I wasn't there for that. I was there to listen to her as she blessed me with her share. That's what I call it. So if someone is decluttering, I call it a share. And after that, she thanked me. Her body language had changed, her face had changed, and she was able to move forward refreshed, rejuvenated, and knew that she was respected, validated, and heard. And so that's what active listening can do for you in the presence of an empathetic listener. So, listening, let's just dive into it. Listening versus hearing. Clinical psychologist Kevin Gilliland states hearing is like collecting data. The act of hearing is rather simple and basic. Listening, on the other hand, is 3 dimensional. People that excel at work or in marriage or friendships are ones that have honed their ability to listen, says Gilliland. And this is absolutely true, that hearing is, you can describe it somewhat of a superficial level, right? Is one of our senses. But when you start to listen, that goes deeper, right? We use other senses and we are able to connect in a way that hearing doesn't allow us to. So it does become 3 dimensional, and it shows, right? It matters. People will sense when you hear them versus listening to them. And I think that what happens, it provides a space, right, of this space to be vulnerable. So there is a difference, as Gilliland states, and the link is at the bottom of the page to that article if you want to go there. In the book by Kate Murphy, she talks about hearing is passive. So in her book, You're Not Listening, What You're Missing, and Why It Matters, Kate Murphy states hearing is passive and listening is active. Listening is work. It does take effort. It calls not only on our hearing, but on our other senses as well. Additionally, we need to focus intentionally on the speaker to help our brains understand. So, when there are distractions, our brain, and I talked about this as well, in the first video I did, 5 tips on improving your listening skills. What happens is your brain will start sometimes to go other places, right? And it's in that period of time that you bring your thoughts back to the present, right? To what the speaker is saying. It does happen, but what happens when our brain starts to travel and to go other places, it's hard to understand the speaker that's in front of us. So it is important to do that. Please go listen to that video, the first video and the second video, but the first video explains in depth about how to stay present. And one of the other things about staying present is any devices that are in the room or around you or any distractions, remove that because, again, our brain is trying to focus on different things and we want to be intentional about listening to the speaker. So it is important that we remove distractions. It is important that we are fully present. It is important that when our brains start to travel, that we bring it back to the speaker. It does happen. Don't beat yourself up, but just bring it back. And all of these things takes effort and it takes practice. And so we can learn these listening skills and we also have to practice them and be willing to practice them. I attended a pre-summit and Julian Treasure was talking, and he was talking about listening skills are not taught in school, and they're not. He said, somewhat we learn about speaking, but listening skills are not taught in school, and listening is part of the foundation of good communication. And so when we don't have a firm foundation, a good foundation when it comes to communication, and listening is one of the key uh, pieces of that foundation, then we're not as effective. And so please read this book or skim through it, but You're Not Listening, What You're Missing and Why It Matters by Kate Murphy. And also, please go and listen to Julian Treasure talk about conscious listening. He actually calls it conscious listening. So it will be very helpful to understanding hearing versus listening and how to communicate better and to hone your listening skills. Please remember, active listening is a game changer in people's lives. I gave you an example early on about the woman that I met in the library. And please understand, this woman did not know I was a certified active listener. She did not know I was a volunteer listener. We just had this time together, and I provided her the space to be vulnerable, right? To have this time to move forward in the place that she was stuck in. And so it does change lives, and we can participate in it. I often look at and believe that active listening is a gift not only to the receiver but the giver. And when we do this, we start to change um, our spaces, right? Our families, our own lives, our families' lives, our communities, and our workplaces. To learn more about active listening and wellness sessions that are available that I have, please contact me. Please scan the QR code or contact me through ttlistener at gmail, and that's ttlistener at gmail.com. And I look forward to bringing you the next video. That video will be on different types of listening. There's not just one listening. We use different types of listening depending on the situations that we're in. And so I will go in depth about those types of listening. So thank you for joining me. I look forward to the next time. Have a blessed day. Bye bye.